Hello and welcome everyone to World Tour Houston. Today we have a battle hardened for you, hosted by Blood on the Bayous at Game Guys here in Houston. I am Josh, and I am joined today by Jonathan. How are you doing today, Jonathan?
I'm doing well, Josh. It's a gorgeous day here in Houston. Great weekend, very busy weekend. You've got Pride Parade, you've got Beyonce, but we are here with the most important event of them all, Battle Hardened Houston.
Battle hardened Houston.
Set the scene for us, Josh. I mean, this has taken a long time to get to this point where we have over 130 players in the building preparing for a Battle Hardened.
Correct. So, like I said, Blood on the Bayou is a grassroots organization here in Houston that is focused on hosting Flesh and Blood tournaments in conjunction with local game stores. So, to that end, whenever Part the Misfail, a week after Part the Misfail came out, we had a Win a Case tournament that we hosted.
Blood on the Bayou won.
Blood on the Bayou won, our very first tournament. And pretty successful. About 40 players showed up. Really good time. Our second one, though, was the Saturday after Rosetta released. So the first opportunity to have LL points put on the board for a Rosetta hero.
Blood on the Bayou 2.
Blood on the Bayou 2. And what it was the first opportunity, and we did just that.
Aurora. Michael Ramsey.
Michael Ramsey, a local here, taking it down with Aurora. We thought it was a good deck at the time.
We now know better.
We now know it was a very good deck at the time. So we had that tournament. The next one that we did, trying to host these per season.
Yes.
So we have a Win a Case tournament that is also an RTN done in the hunted season.
Yes.
75 people came out to that. Really good time there as well. And then getting some attention from LSS and putting on these successful tournaments.
Shout outs to LSS.
Yes, time after time, we did get a PQ plus.
Yes, I remember the PQ plus.
And the PQ plus was for and I guess that was actually had to be for Rosetta then, right?
I believe that was actually I don't remember exactly.
That was Rosetta because that's whenever because I
was,
remember Yuki Liebender came into town.
Yes,
bringing
on
a very good Florian deck.
Florian, yes.
And then our local
Evan Ford on Verdance.
Evan Ford brought it down. So that was a PQ plus, and it went really. And obviously, like I said, it went really well. And so then we start getting. So now we get into this circuit series.
Yes,
So
Blood on the Bayou Circuit Series.
Monthly tournaments. $500 monthly tournaments being hosted at a local game store. And what that meant is that we had points that people were accumulating each month to try and eventually get to this point.
Yeah.
So we did 3
all
months
culminating here at Battle Hardened Houston, the capstone of our Blood on the Bayou Circuit Series. Why don't you show us the points?
All right. So if we look here, we have our Blood on the Bayou current standing. So we have 2 storylines that are going on here today. We have your standard Battle Hardened, which is our normal pricing.
$2,000 on the line, PTIs, gold foil. These guys are playing for the goods.
So that is your standard Battle Hardened pricing. But on top of that, the underlying storyline, we also have these Blood on the Bayou points. And today, for every win, you will get 2 points. Now, a lot of these people are locals, or at least in Texas, and have been traveling to Houston monthly to do this. So right now we have Evan Ford on top of the standings with 38 points. Every win today will get you 2 more points. And if you win the entirety of the Blood on the Bayou circuit.
So even if you're not a local, there's a chance that you can shoot to the top of this leaderboard, huh?
You can get in there, but you're not going to win.
Yeah.
You had to show up at least a few times locally. But if you, in the entire circuit, if you do take down the entire circuit, first place is getting another $500. Second place also $300. Third and fourth, $200. 5th through 8th, another $100. And 9th through 16th, another $50.
A lot of money on the line.
So just on top of the Battle Hardened,
yes,
we have this other storyline kind of running, and we're going to be keeping a
track on that.
Keeping track on our participants with the Blood on the Bayou points and seeing where they end up as the day goes on.
One additional prize for people who have a lot of points in the Blood on the Bayou series, the exclusive metal fab token resource for the Houston events, right?
Correct. Yes, so we have that. The resource token, really cool. You can only get that here. Will not be available outside of these events. I think that if you're able to come up today to the Battle Hardened, win 2, maybe 3 games,
Yeah.
you should be walking away with one of these exclusives.
So look
promos.
out for that exclusive token from any of the players who you see on stream today or who you know have come to Battle Hardened Houston, because that is a really cool resource token that we're really proud of that represents Houston and what we're made of.
Exactly.
I just, Josh, you've talked a lot about what has happened to get to this point, and I just really want to emphasize that Blood on the Bayou, all of these events do not happen without community effort. People like Matt DiGregorio, who is the tournament organizer for this stuff. I mean, this stuff doesn't happen without all of the members of the community who come out to these events, who organize these events. And then, on top of that, LSS for supporting gamers who just want to play games in the flesh and blood.
Recognizing groups like Blood on the Bayou.
Yes.
For putting in this effort to grassroots organize. This is not hosted by a Star City Games
No.
or anything like that. This is a grassroots organization that we've been putting in the blood, sweat, tears, some flesh, to make sure that this
Definitely
has
some
happened.
cash.
And some cash. So shout out to all of our local game stores that
Yes.
have been helping out with this.
The adventure begins.
The adventure begins. Game
Game
guys.
Guys.
They have been instrumental in making sure that these tournaments have happened. So super excited about that.
Shout out to Hemmel at the Bazaar.
And Hammurabi TCG. So with that, let's talk about the Battle Hardened itself.
So we have over 130 players here today. We've got some big names. Obviously, if you go back to the Blood on the Bayou Circuit Series standings, we've got people like Bird Cabrera, top 4 U.S. Nationals. We've got Nicholas Tran, I believe, calling top 8 at the U.S. Nationals.
Also, one of the, I think, right behind Brody Spurlock
Okay.
is the top player in Texas
Oh,
as
okay.
far as I think it's like
Player of the Year awards. or
like
something?
ELO.
Yeah, okay. Very
ELO.
cool.
Yeah.
So a lot of big players. Of course, we love our locals here. Evan Ford, who is top 2 at the Blood on the Bayou 2. Michael Ramsey took down Blood on the Bayou 2. Justin Fryer, huge shout out to Justin Fryer, who helps organize a lot of these events, but is also a dang good player as well. And he's here as well competing.
Yeah, a lot of these players traveling to nationals and things like that, going really well. So let's talk about some of the meta that we have going on. So the meta breakdown that we have going, the meta story kind of going into this
Yes.
is obviously we have lost Enigma.
Yes.
And we have lost Aurora.
Yes.
And we've recently lost Nu.
Yes.
And now we have our right now we have Azalea really close
Yes.
to LLing as well.
Yeah. Azalea and maybe Dash Adventure Extraordinaire, very close to Living Legends.
Yeah, so coming into that, we also have the release of High Seas.
Yes.
And with that, Gravy Bones being an extremely popular deck.
The new hotness, Gravy Bones, is here. And just from you and me talking to players around the tournament today, I'm hearing a lot of Gravy Bones.
I will see the meta breakdown here relatively soon, but I think that we're going to see a fair share of Gravy Bones. But with the rise in Gravy Bones, means that
the natural predators.
We're seeing the natural predators show up, namely in Syndra.
So Syndra took out Canadian Nats, taking down a lot of Gravy Bones in the process. And I think, just being able to efficiently, cleanly clear those allies has given her a lot of breath or a lot of leeway in this meta. But I do think that the Gravy Bones can respond.
They can. They have a lot of tools available to them. That is one of the things about, even though Necromancer is fairly new.
Yeah.
It is still very much a toolbox deck. It
Yeah.
has a lot of tools available to it. Some of them only in the form of the allies, but still a lot of things that it can do. So today, we haven't seen the meta breakdown.
No, no. I think people are still signing up, so we could have more than 130 players. We're definitely doing 8 rounds of Swiss today. It's going to be a long day here at Battle Hardened Houston. All CC. Shout outs to all of the nationals going on right now. I was watching UK Nats when I woke up this morning. They're doing a little bit of draft. They've got a little bit of CC. Here, we're doing all CC all day today, and you can expect to see a lot of great games of the Flesh and Blood.
Yes, I'm very excited to see how this goes. So we have Syndra going to be preying on our any spicy takes you have, Jonathan, on what you think could maybe just come in and spike the tournament.
That's a good question. I'm definitely not the kind of pro player that I think there's a lot of well-known names here. I've saw yesterday there was a part of World Tour Houston. There was a Super Armory here at Game Guys. 50 players come out to the Super Armory at Game Guys yesterday.
It was a good time.
It was a great time. Josh, you were there. One of the things that you don't expect to see at your Armory is to play against the world champion. How was it against playing against Michael Hamilton?
So Michael Hamilton did show up with Gravy Bones, and I, being the extremely proficient and great player that I am, brought a puffin pile. And by pile, I mean that I took the Canadian top 16 puffin list and decided that I was going to play that. So we're running 13 copper cogs,
There you go. I love it.
We are just going face. Now, I would like to sit here and tell you
that Puffin is the answer.
that Puffin was the answer, and I was able to just take it down to Michael Hamilton. But unfortunately, I did not.
Yeah.
It was close, but I left a chum on the board a little too long.
Yeah.
And just the free 4 every turn was not. It wasn't it.
So there are a lot of really, really high caliber players. I think you mentioned Brody Spurlock is also here. Michael Fang. I mean, it is a veritable who's who of Flesh and Blood luminaries. And so I can't.
Saw Levi Rauch in the crowd as well.
Levi Rauch in the crowd. I mean, I won't begin to even think of what the sleeper deck pick is. But we've been hearing things about Warriors. I know a good friend of mine, Buddy Knight, also on the leaderboard here, is on Fang.
Yes.
We've seen a lot of Kasai coming up. Shelling, who use in the Discord, always comes out to these events, maybe on Kasai. Those decks are really able to kind of efficiently also take out the Gravy Bones allies.
Correct. Yeah. So I think that we may see some Warriors come up. My spicy take, though, is that I think that we will see that we may see a victor list.
Yeah. So
that's just going to rise to the top, preying on some of the Syndras, and then having just enough go again to eke out the value into the Gravy Bones.
So our co-caster, Charles, who's going to be coming up here, giving us a break every once in a while, is definitely one of those victor players, and is telling me he loves the Gravy matchup. So hopefully we see one of these Guardians, maybe even a Jarl, come out, natural predator, ice natural predator to Dragonic heroes. Maybe there's a Jarl out there that we can see rise to the top.
We will see what happens here. I think that we are doing the players meeting now and getting ready to get the round started, hopefully here pretty soon.
Yeah. Why don't we take a break and then come back when the round 1 starts?
All right, so we will take a break, and we will see you all very soon.
Thanks for joining us. Blood on the Bayou, World Tour Houston, Battle Hardened Houston. Thanks, LSS. Welcome back to Blood on the Bayou, Houston. World Tour Houston, Battle Hardened Houston, at Game Guys, sponsored by Blood on the Bayou. Sorry, it's gonna take a little bit to get used to that phrasing. But this is Battle Hardened Houston here in at Game Guys,
Here
hosted by Blood on the Bayou.
There you go. All right, we're gonna get through it. Our players are So our players have started. We are at 130 players, 8 rounds today, and then we are going to get our players set up in the feature match area right now.
Yes.
So
So it sounds like we've got Evan Ford on Verdance versus Gabriel Torres on Riptide. So Evan Ford, as you know, you and I know, Josh, huge Houston local, the leader of our Blood in the Bayou circuit series, has 38 points and is hoping to keep his entire streak going on. And we're looking forward to seeing how exactly Evan kind of handles this this entire thing.
and I am
So we're trying to get situated here at, again, 130 participants. We're going 8 rounds here, 8 Swiss rounds before we cut to a top 8. And we're really looking forward to seeing what all of these players have.
all right. So I am working on getting this name. There it is. I found it.
Yeah, this is a little run and gun process that we have here. So it's a little bit, give us a second. This isn't your nationals level kind of.
We need Ethan.
We need an Ethan
We
here,
need Ethan.
not just Josh and me. So we're gonna watch as these players kind of start getting ready. You're gonna look at us for a little longer, but we're just gonna try. We're trying to set these guys up so that we can watch Verdance versus Riptide. Josh, what do you think about Verdance in this metagame?
I think that it may be a little difficult for
Yeah.
Verdance.
We know that Evan has been playing Verdance for quite a while. Like we said earlier, Verdance made it to the top. Evan on Verdance made it to the top 2 of our Blood on the Bayou Series 2. But, Verdance did win the U.S. Nationals. Majin Bay on Verdance, taking it down, I believe, was against a Gravy Bones in the finals, if I recall correctly. So we definitely have. There's definitely a lot of things that can go right for Verdance. And it looks like we're getting right into the game.
Oh, it looks like here I have the wrong hero, so I will see if I can get that fixed. But we will try and get that fixed here. There we go.
Yes.
Let's see
Look
if
at the.
I can go to the game main very quickly.
And now we are getting into it. Evan Ford versus Gravy Bones.
Very good. All right, so let's see. And we are bear with us as we get going on our trying to get some of the just some of the stuff.
It's the kinks. It's
Little-
the first round kinks.
Well, first round stuff. We're gonna get it going here.
Yeah.
All right.
So Verdance versus Riptide. I played a good bit of Riptide. I'm interested in seeing if Gabriel is on the regular Riptide. Maybe be playing with Dreadbore. Might be on the Red Spine. I'm very interested in to see what Gabriel brings out on this Riptide.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is going to be more of that red line Riptide. And if it is, then it's maybe a little tough to cover all of the arcane damage that Verdance is going to be putting out here.
Yeah, if there's no blues on the table except for their traps, then they may not be able to kind of AB. Although
We'll see. We'll see what we present here. Is there? I guess at least they'll run. Gabriel will be on the spell void quiver,
Yes, with the able to block arcane enchanted quiver, I think is what it's called.
and it looks like the players are going to lose all of their going to be able to lose their cards here as they're both on green sleeves. So hopefully nobody goes home with the wrong cards here.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Evan gives any of his cards.
So we will see. Verdance is going to start out with this waning moon, and it's going to be a Death Dealer, New Horizons, sunken, the sunken treasure, um, and the Snapdragon Scalers, not even having any AB presented here by Gabriel.
I believe that the trench has AB
Oh,
on
the
it.
trench does have it has
Yeah,
AB1 or something,
yeah.
right?
It's interesting that he's running the glide fins over maybe something like the bullseye bracers, which also has arcane. But maybe Gabriel recognizing that his list does not run a lot of resource cards.
So we're going to activate Death Dealer to start it here and see if Evan wants to do anything about that. It is going to be a drill shot that is loaded. And then Fruits of the Forest going to come out and gain 2 here for Evan. Trying to get that graveyard loaded up so he can decompose. Seek and destroy. Sending 8 on the drill shot. Evan just going to lay the hand down and say, that's fine. Putting the earth cards in 1 stack so that we can see here. And going to pass it over to Evan and see what we got going on.
Kind of very easy block for Evan in terms of just kind of accepting the
Yeah, so I think that Evan now actually has the earth that he needs to decompose the first time.
yeah, he has Fruits of the Forest and the Candle Hold.
Yeah, so at minimum 2. I didn't catch all 3 cards I put down, so it would have been Emeritus Scolding and the
Heart of Candlehold.
Heart of Candlehold, as well as the
So can decompose, but may be restricted by this Dreadbore activation or Dreadbore passive ability.
just gonna send 4 arcane here in the Aether Bloom Life, and then followed up with a Waning Moon. So just a simple, 2-card 6, all arcane, just pure damage. And going to gain 2 more from the Fruits of the Forest coming in. So Evan up to 44. So we're going to be moving over to Gabriel's turn. 32 playing into 44. And we'll see what Gabriel has in store here on a 5-card hand.
Gabriel Torres really feeling kind of the health deficit that immediately starts the game when you come out on Riptide. Evan Ford already up to over his starting life total at 44.
So the premeditate, sending out the go again, enlightened strike. So going to be coming in for 5 go again.
Looks like a fairly redline list.
Should it be? You pull a pre-med there.
Oh, yeah. Pull up pre-med.
I thought that it had the pump on it. I guess it doesn't have the pump quite yet.
No.
It's only from Arsenal.
It's only come from Arsenal.
Okay, but he will make the ponder. That's what it is on hit. So I'm going to take the 5, go back to 1 under his starting life total. The ponder token is there for Gabriel. Another Seek and Destroy, and then a 0 for 3 coming in.
0 for 4,
0
Swift
for
Shot.
4.
Yeah, so Swift Shot, one of the big gains that Riptide got out of high seas. Really good in the kind of red spine build where you just kind of load it face up and it already has go again. So Gabriel doesn't get the go again, but is a 0 for 4 that he is very willing to send out.
And Evan just going to send back a 2-card 8 here.
Cadaverous Tilling.
In the tilling.
It says big old 8. What do you think about Earth Heroes kind of in this metagame right now where just being able to block, send a 2-card 8, is that where you want to be in this metagame?
I think it makes it a little difficult into the gravy matchup,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering what the sideboard looks like for someone like Verdance here, trying to hedge into gravy, but getting the value off of return fire here.
So this is actually one of the challenges with return fire
Oh, he
is
did
that
get the value.
he oh, so he is not actually using the return fire. One of the challenges is that there is not an opportunity to trench away on your turn the whatever you return fire. So would have had to trench on Evan's turn and maybe wasting a little bit of value.
So just gonna come in with the scar. So the 0 for 4 go again. How many 0 for 4s do you think Gabriel can pack into a Riptide list? Looks like he's holding a nimblism though.
Yeah, I mean, this is a red line list if you've ever seen a red line list. I mean, scar for a scar, nimblism.
Just gonna clear up what the arena looks like here and understand how many earth cards we have going on. So Gabriel going to follow this up with a nimblism. And then E strike 4-10. Blocking 6 on that, gonna take 4, go down to 31. So Gabriel keeping up with Evan here. But there is a lot of life gain in this Verdant deck. But here it comes. One of the reasons to play Earth.
Yes. Is this the first decompose though?
This is not. It is going because he did send the Cadaverous Tilling.
Cadaverous Tilling. So this Felling of the Crown activated both modes, +4 and bottom a card.
So Gabriel going to end up having to go down to 3 cards in hand and facing down the 8 that is Felling of the Crown. Just going to block 6, get some value. Some value out of those cards. And it looks like Gabriel's probably just going to Arsenal and pass here. So now the challenge comes in on Verdance to be able to use all of these cards. And it looks like at least he has an empty Arsenal. And I see another Felling the Crown.
Not exactly. Oh, maybe not enough Earth. Oh, yes, definitely has enough Earth cards to decompose again. Felling of the Crown would be another brutal attack.
Just trying to shut down turn after turn of these Ranger players.
But would also have to give up maybe a card unless he's able to kind of over pitch.
Yeah, the symmetrical effect on Felling of the Crown can be a little detrimental sometimes. I'm just saying, you know what? No decompose.
No decompose.
Oh,
What?
yes, he is. There
Oh,
he is.
there it
I'm
is.
sorry. Guess he was allowing the trigger, allowing Gabriel to respond to the trigger there.
So Evan almost to Verdant's ability being online, and all of these life gain effect that he had used kind of earlier in the game, starting to rack up some damage now on the other side.
Exactly. And Evan able, even with the symmetrical effect of Felling the Crown, able to keep 1 card. Probably going to keep the D-React. I don't remember, is Dreadbore D-Reacts out of hand or out of
Dreadbore
arsenal?
is D-Reacts out of hand, so would love to get that D-React into the arsenal.
Looks like that is probably a return fire under there. That's why the drill shot is getting put into banish, trenches away, and then using the return fire to send a drill shot for 7.
Yeah.
I did it.
Return fire, again, sometimes a little awkward in Riptide because you don't get to trench away something that you had stuck in your arsenal, and so had to use it on Evan's turn, but still able to use it to create a pretty good 1-card hand coming in for 7 with an actual relevant on hit.
There is not a ton of blocking equipment here in the Wizard Suite, but still able to I think this should put Verdance online, and going to flip over to the beautiful Marvel side, showing that Verdance is online. And there's a Vanilla 6 from CNC, the beautiful Marvel there.
Yeah. Command and Conquer. Evan saying, I wish you had an arsenal right now so that this actually did something. Gabriel, could just take 6 and go down.
Going down to 20. But because the arsenal is empty, can just go ahead and block with the New Horizons, really to not a lot of penalty.
Wow.
The third return fire, but this time not having the arrow in hand. So just going to be the red block 3.
Really interesting. I mean, this is maybe the 5th turn in the
Nimblism into a that should be a 10, right? So coming in for an Enlightened Strike for 10.
I think this Riptide list is really interesting. Has sent maybe as many non-air, just generic attacks as he has sent arrows.
Yeah, that's real. That's a really good note there. The arrows that he has been sending are all the 0 cost, and just and trying to eke out any value from them with the drill shots and things like that. So going to block 6 with the Scours is probably not doing a whole lot in the matchup, and another Plow Under.
But this is exactly the game plan for Verdance. Block 2, send 2.
Just Value Town.
Just Value
grinding.
Town. Value Town, thy name, Bulllander.
Yeah, this a lot. I've heard some people call this the a bull verdance or something akin to that I'm gonna butcher here pretty badly. So this is going to be he's going to block out this here.
Yeah.
But I think I've talked to Evan about just playing verdance in general. And one of the things that he tells me is that Verdance is very happy to just walk down life totals with you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Verdance has Storm Strider sitting on the side and can just say, okay, Burn Bear for 6, what are you going to do about it? And has a Waning Moon. So really, if you get to 9 with no AB, it can be a pretty big blowout here. So 9 is kind of that magical number with only AB. Well, with AB1, you'll be able to go down to 8. I'm going to send the Decompose in here to block out this drill shot.
Another drill shot online.
Ring of Roses. This is one of those expansion slot cards as a legendary that is pretty, I mean, especially with Verdance Online, just makes your value kind of go through the roof here. And he is going to, wow. So just off of a Waning Moon, you get to trigger Verdance and heal 1. And then going to get the Ring of Roses trigger. Going to also get 3 value at instant speed off the Fruits of the Forest. Just the value train is now starting to really kick in.
This is where Evan really starts to pull away from Gabriel. Gabriel able to keep this entire hand, but I mean the life gain and the damage on top of it has separated them. They were at 26 all just a second ago.
Just going to take the Scar here for 4, see what else is coming in. Lace with Frailty into an Endless Arrow. See what we want to respect here. Come in for 7. Such an awkward block without being able to de-react from hand.
Evan, is that another Felling of the Crown in hand? May want to just hold enough cards to send that again.
Be able to block the 2 card. And I didn't see if he had the blue to kind of power that or not.
Still has equipment that he could kind of send with this to power it up. it looks like a very obvious snaps play here. Gabriel with 2 cards left in hand would probably want to send get more value out of those cards as well.
Yeah, and still has the Dreadbore ability to load as well.
Yeah. Unless those are just traps and kind of maybe stuck in hand. But Evan having a big think, this might be a big turning point in this match.
Looks like this is Gabriel trying to actually get one of those big Riptide turns here. Try and put together a lot of the zero costs and just play out 5 cards. I've been trying to prevent the Endless Arrow from just being able to be loaded right back into Arsenal and have an easy target for Gabriel to Arsenal here. I can definitely see why it's a good think. A good think here.
Gabriel already sent 11 damage this turn. Can he give out more? Can he dish out more? On hit frailty, not really an issue here for Evan.
It's just a 0 for 3 pump. You know, let's take what we can get here for the 0 for 3 pumps. Unless, of course, there is something in the arsenal, but like we saw the felling.
The felling in his hand, I think that's kind of what he wants to send. What do you think Evan is pitch stacking here? I mean, is he waiting for this to go to a fatigue plan? I can't imagine that he is. I mean, Gabriel has not really been walking, or Gabriel has not really been blocking here.
I don't know that the Verdance is going to. I don't think that Evan is going to get to pitch stack, and I think he knows that. He's just kind of playing the cards as they come here and hoping. And I mean, he just has good value, so I don't think that he's trying to fatigue the Riptide at all. I think he's trying to decide. I think he really just wants to deny the value of Endless being bounced back to hand. Evan also notably was a very big Ranger player and knows what it like how good it is to keep bouncing Endless Arrow around and always have an arsenal target.
Endless Arrow, the main mechanism for Rangers to deal with Gravy Bones. A very important card in this kind of main board. Less important against Evan, but still a lot of damage.
It still sets up, especially if it does hit, it sets up him being able to, Gabriel being able to play out the entire hand and still have an arsenal.
Yeah.
So there comes the snaps. Looks like Evan just going to take the 7, and it is going to bounce the Endless Arrow back to hand.
3 cards. Haven't seen a Codex yet. Codex play could be pretty big.
Is that 2 Endless Arrows in hand?
Might be 2 Endless Arrows.
So I have to pitch to Dreadbore. Endless pitching Endless. So as much think as Evan had about that, it was still just at the end of the day Gabriel was just going to have another one.
Yeah.
And Evan talking about here that there was another Endless anyway, so he definitely doesn't feel as bad just letting that bounce back to hand. Evan reading a rain razors there and just going to
so blocking 8 with all of his equipment,
But the -1 off of the gauntlets.
Yes. So just wanting to deny that extra arsenal, Endless Arrow.
So now Gabriel back to no arsenal, discarding the fruits, triggering Verdance, triggering the Ring of Roses.
Has the felling, I believe, still in hand.
It's just
trigger.
This is 2 damage or it's what, 3 damage and 2 health. 2 health and 2. It's 0 for 4 instant speed from fruits, and then gets to follow it up with a felling of the crown. Just so good.
Thankfully, the last Felling of the Crown, I believe, that Evan Ford has access to, unless he wants to plop the Plume of the Evergrowth to replay a Felling of the Crown.
And we have not seen a burn bear come out here, notably, which I think is pretty interesting. I thought the burn bear has been a pretty good upgrade in these verdants lists to just say, here's 6 at Arcane, deal with it. But a rabble showing another rabble coming in with 1 card left in hand. 15 playing 21 here at Battle Hardened Houston in our round number 1 of 8 rounds that we will have today.
130 players. Looking forward to seeing what these guys bring. Evan Ford, Gabriel Torres in the first round.
Shelter the cover of the 4, and looks like all 3 rabbles just super clumped there. So rabble, rabble, rabble. There it comes. So
these rabbles
there's the burn bear.
are just not scary though, right? I mean, it is just damage, and Evan Ford happy to take a little bit of damage because he knows I'm just going to heal up.
I mean, on top of it, it's generally Verdance loves throwing down 2, saving 2 cards in hand, and just going off of the value there. So we see it in Light Strike just coming in for 7, a 2-card play for 7, able to get 7 damage, another 6 off of the block, so 13 value off of the 4-card hand. I mean, it doesn't get a lot better than that. You just, I mean, it's just good numbers over turn after turn after turn. And we're gonna get to the point where Gabriel is gonna have to start respecting the damage that comes in little by little.
I think Gabriel has to start respecting the damage right now. I mean, going under 10 against Evan Ford as a wizard, that is always a scary proposition. So Gabriel choosing to take block 2, go down to 5 in this case, because, going single digits against a wizard leaves you open to Storm Striders.
So with Storm Striders, Evan can, and there's the Codex, Evan can send a Burn Bear with a Waning Moon for 9. And if Gabriel has no cards in hand to AB off of the trench, then 9 is lethal. So the lowest it looks like he can go is probably 8. We've only seen 1 Burn Bear.
Codex, obviously a great card, and Gabriel probably was going to pop it off whenever he got one, but also was able to get some value here by not allowing Evan to grab Felling of the Crown out of the graveyard.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the difficult things is finding a good place against these Earth heroes, and against a lot of these heroes now to not just grab really power cards out of their graveyard. I think about the Conqueror of the Seas. You don't want to see that card come at you 4 times a game.
Ranger, not Assassin, does not have access to a Leave No Witness to easily kind of attack that arsenal that gets made. So really has to have a bit more think about when to use this Codex of Frailty.
Evan here going to give a good think into this 10 that's coming that he is staring down.
10 effective 11 with the Searing Shot ability.
Yeah, Searing Shot going to give that extra ping on hit.
Seek and Destroy Frailty on hit.
Evan has been holding on to this arsenal for a little while. It looks like he really wants to protect it here. So maybe a D-React, but also could be just the Burn Bear he needs to close out the game.
And remember, no D-Reacts from hand, so something could get stuck.
Not wanting to lose it to the Seek and Destroy effect here. Have a good think. And there's already going to have the Ponder to refill the arsenal for Gabriel. But showing that his list doesn't necessarily need it either. And if Evan did choose to take this, they would just go right back to life parity, but is lining up some blocks. Have a good think here. In the tank, over the 10, and the Seek and Destroy. I think the Seek and Destroy is really what kind of makes this
Yeah,
interesting here.
yeah. Just that the really relevant on hit if Evan really needs to keep this arsenal.
With 2 non-attacks and the Embodiment of Earth, re pretty good. And then
There.
there we go. Covers the 9 by discarding the Shelter. So showing that he really wants to protect this arsenal here. I mean, that is a heavy commitment to go down to 1 card to protect this arsenal.
And shows kind of what kind of
Um,
all to protect a pulsing Aether. Um, protected that pulsing Aether, but really shows kind of the power of Dreadbore, making sure that Evan couldn't use that shelter from the storm out of hand and had to just overblock more than he would like and discard as an instant.
so now Gabriel going down to 5.
This is a scary, scary position.
It's a scary spot to be in. We starting to see all of these pumps. Wow. Huge pumps going on. And then going to be the Stone Rain. Gonna pick up
Yeah.
the pulsing. And it looks like this will be lethal here. As
Yeah.
There are no cards left in hand. Storm Striders going to send the pulsing.
Doesn't really, Gabriel trying to figure out exactly how much damage he's sending, but it might not matter.
Gaining, and then there's Moon.
And there it is. Waiting
And
Moon.
that's
Good
gonna
game.
be good game. All right, so we are taking it right back to the booth because I clicked the wrong button here. But congratulations to Evan taking it down on Verdance and going 1-0.
1-0. Some extra circuit points for Evan for his win
Moving
at the
up to 40.
at the Battle Hardened Houston. We will see. I mean, looks like the round is ending, so we'll see what happens as we get to the next round. We'll take a break and we'll be back. Thanks for tuning in to Battle Hardened Houston here at Game Guys.
See you in round 2.
My Battle Hardened? Well, I just watched an amazing game on stream, and I'm ready for many more amazing games. Of course, we have 8 rounds today before the cut to top 8, so we have plenty of content.
130 players here at Battle Hardened Houston. Gorgeous day in Houston. We're spending it all day inside, playing games in the flesh and blood, and really looking forward to it. I think we have an exciting infographic to show you guys. Why don't
Of
we cut to
course.
that?
So we are going to have the meta breakdown for y'all here.
So, round 2 is just about to begin, and so we are. But now let's just kind of look at what's going on. Here's the meta breakdown.
Now, it does say Verdance for Sintra. That we will change going forward. But yeah, 17 gravies. We were expecting that to be pretty prevalent as just the new hero and the new class. We know that Brody Spurlock, Michael Hamilton, and Michael Fang, I believe, are all on gravy. And of course, the Syndra is kind of the counter to gravy,
Yeah.
just something that just wants to farm it. But anything else that you think is very interesting?
Yeah, so the rise of Prism, I think, is really a cool thing that's happening here. Prism, has a bit of that ally, obviously the illusionist DNA that Gravy Bones brings, but is really just kind of also has those big on hit, the big heralds that are really hard to deal with.
Yeah, and like we saw in the first match, 9 Verdants as well. Just the good wizard, of course the wizard
Bullander kind of.
that and the wizard that Majin Bey took nationals on. And we have just our standard aggro decks, the Fangs, the KOs, the Slippies. And then just the good value decks, the Kasais.
Yeah, so we have kind of Arachne slip through the crack, and also the Arachne marionette that are kind of hand in hand. The assassins, no Azuri, I don't believe, and so the assassins could come out to play now that new is has finally LL'd.
Yeah, we're seeing 3 Katsu, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah, so
very bold of them to come out and play, as well as 2 Bravo. More heroes that kind of got pushed away from the meta just because newer versions of the heroes were slightly better. But seeing that some of these older heroes are coming back does feel good for the meta. Just goes to show how open the meta is right now and how a lot of heroes are viable.
Guardians in general, Jarl as well. I know that you love to play Victor. Victor, the horse, you can really only see the horse there, but the horse is there.
That is Victor.
Yeah. So it looks like we're setting up the round 2. Michael Ramsey.
Give us one
Yeah,
moment.
give us
as
one
we're
moment.
Getting everything set up, just making sure we are in tip-top shape.
So what else do you see in this meta breakdown? Looking at 4 Kanos. 5 Azaleas, very close to LL. Could happen in the next week with all these nationals going on. And then also the Kasai kind of being able to kind of cut down these Gravy Bones allies. Obviously, the meta really shifting around Gravy Bones. KO able to take care of those allies as well. I think all of these really adapting to the high seas meta.
And as we are about to get into the game here,
looks like round 2 is going to be Austin Araby on KO versus Michael Ramsey on Kasai. Michael Ramsey, winner of the Blood on the Bayou #2 on Aurora. Also the #2 point leader on our Blood on the Bayou circuit series. And so really want to follow Michael Ramsey as he moves through this battle hardened. Already 1-0, beat, I believe, a Gravy on Kasai in his first round, and Austin Araby, looking to, win here.
That is
On KO.
And I talked with Austin after his first game. He played against a Victor the first round, was
Wow.
able to get through that, which I think it's probably a pretty close matchup. But now we're back to just another heavy hitters
Yeah.
game.
So Austin really going through the heavy hitters gauntlet. Victor and then Kasai.
So the game's already started. Anything that you want to comment on? It looks like equipment is pretty standard for what we're going to see.
Yeah, pretty stock standard for what we're probably going to see. Michael Ramsey on the balance of justice, really looking to leverage that defensive ability on the Blood Rush Bellows turns.
All right, and it looks like Austin had just played a card, Arsenal and pass. We're moving into Michael's first turn.
What do you think about this new kind of Kasai draw deck Kasai that really values kind of the draw effects to make the sabers free?
I think it's just more for that mid-range value.
Yeah.
And I think the gym also helps Kasai a lot. Of course, having the gold to pitch to, or using it to pitch to a gold to remake the gold so that you're always keeping gold around and drawing more cards, I think gave her a boost that she really needed. KO also getting a new card with the sea legs is going to be able to benefit from those draw discards. It's also a 6, and the Gold Kiss Rum can allow Austin to go extra wide on maybe turns where he doesn't have the Pulpings, the Wild Rides, or any of the other go again itself.
So Michael Ramsey already off to a kind of the classic heavy hitters token generation. Has Copper, has a Vigor, but Austin took a lot of damage and is immediately going into a Blood Rush Bellows turn.
All right, and the Wild Ride is the discard here. 2 floating. Should Austin want to throw that claw. Looks like we drew a Pulping in the hand. So claw for 5 coming out. Michael deciding what to defend with. And I believe the stream might not be showing the game. It looks like for some reason OBS is having an issue sending it out. We will try to fix that shortly.
Yeah, so just keep going.
Yeah. Of course, technical issues will have to happen from time to time.
Yeah.
We're trying our best to fix the issues, but there's only so much that we can do. Thankfully, the staff here at Game Guys is trying to resolve anything that comes up as quickly as possible.
Yeah. It sounds like the players are not really impeded by that, so just giving them the opportunity to kind of keep playing out their turns. Why don't we just come back in a second? We're going to try to get this resolved and be back with you guys in a second. All right, we're back. We're running. Looks like just to get back up to speed. Uh, getting it back up to speed. Austin Araby 27, Michael Ramsey 32. Austin looking like
Looks like Michael blocked out a good portion of that previous turn for
Yeah.
the Blood Rush, and we were back
looks
to
like he had
Austin's
to
turn.
use that balance of justice, just as we had mentioned.
So the Scabs roll here, rolling a 3, still only going to gain the 1 action point back.
What do you think about the scab skin as kind of a still part of the
Greed is good,
Yeah,
and it works very well with the Gold Kiss Rum,
yeah,
giving the activation of Scabs go again on the off chance that you do roll a 1, just prevents you from bricking on a turn.
yeah.
And so I think with the sea legs coming out in high seas, I think Brutes just have a very good card that they have access to.
Yeah, probably not one that you may have expected to be turning into a brute card, but has really proven to be a good addition.
Ooh, and it looks like the Cast Bones was the discard off the
Just
Wild
a little
Ride.
bit of a random RNG that didn't go Austin's way. Michael able to use a lot of value on this Valiant Dynamos and take it on the chin.
All right, Michael moving into his turn with that agility token, not needing to force go again onto his Centauri Sabers, just having access to it. And we're seeing that blue Blade Runner be pitched into the gold. All right, we're seeing a Kasai activation here. 4 cards going into the banish, 2 red, 2 yellow, giving the next time weapon will hit, we'll make that gold for her.
Yeah, gold really important here.
All right, we're seeing the 2 red slice and dice and the outlet skirmish coming through. It's going to make the first Centauri Saber for 6. Go again off the agility token. The onus is on Austin on how to block.
Austin doesn't really have a lot of options. I mean, all of his attacks will buff this Centauri Saber.
Looks like we're just going to block with the Apex Bone Breaker and the Swing Big here. We're going to make the Might token off the Apex. Of course, we're pumping the Centauri Saber up by 1.
Michael Ramsey with an absolute plethora of tokens over there generated. Agility, vigor, gold, copper.
All the money, and as the second Centauri Saber come through, the Slice and Dice is going to pump that up. It's going to be 8 on the back end for the second swing. Definitely a very good turn for Michael.
Austin kind of already on the back foot here.
Yeah, he committed a lot to damage for that first Blood Rush turn.
Yeah, really kept
And-
his entire hand.
Yeah, and Michael just kind of blocked it out, got value off of the hat piece, and was able to just stem the bleeding in that aspect. So definitely Austin not able to push through that damage and the armor that Kasai has access to.
But Austin, still has access to really important equipment pieces. One, the Savage Sash and the Scowling Flesh Bag that could
Yeah,
put a hamper
And
on.
I think it's going to really come down to how that Scowling Fleshback is used in this game in
Yeah.
order to give Austin the tempo back that he needs.
Yeah. Probably one of the requirements there, another Blood Rush Bellows turn.